Hey, welcome to the Center Podcast. We are calling this podcast the Contingency Plan.
Center Studios
Yeah, right. I forgot that part. The Center Studios Contingency Plan.
Contingency Plan.
Wow. Yeah. So we're getting real up in here. And just to kind of frame what we are trying to accomplish once again with this podcast is we want to bring some content to you guys that's relevant, that's kind of in the now, that's, you know, I don't know if you want to call it pulp culture and fun stuff. What
Pulp culture? I don't know.
Is that a
relevant things?
relevant things? Relevant things with Kenton and Nathan. So
Wait, are we making another podcast?
that could be a good one. Maybe we completely
Relevant
screwed
things.
relevant things with Kenton and Nathan from our perspective. But we also want to hear from you. So if you have things you want us to talk about and pick apart, we're really good at being those types of guys. So actually Kenton's really good at it. I'm good with just like waving and nodding. I'm like the penguins from Madagascar, just smile and wave type of deal. Yeah, no, I watch a lot of cartoons these days. But anyway, we want to kind of bring some stuff to our local individuals. And if you're listening from afar, then great. You can find this podcast on iTunes and Google.
Eventually.
Eventually.
It's in the process, guys.
Yeah.
Give me a break.
So there's a little delay on this, but we're going to get a head start anyway. So, but let's start by introducing ourselves. Kenton, tell us a little bit about you.
Okay, well, I am Kenton. I am the program director here at the center, which means I'm in charge of all the things that basically happen youth related.
Mm-hmm.
So all of the events, all the weekends, that stuff I'm in charge of. So if you have a complaint, send it to Nathan because I don't care. No, I'm just kidding. I really care a lot. But I'm also unofficially the Supreme Emperor of the Center, and that title was given to me by my predecessor, Kenton, and I will continue to hold that title.
Yeah. Yeah, I have no real control over social media, so as far as the hashtags go, that ain't me. So yeah, we'll just let him think what he wants to hear.
I'm hashtagging everything with "that ain't me" that you're in now.
That ain't me.
That ain't me.
That ain't me. It was the other guy. Anyway, my name's Nathan. I am the executive director here at the center. I get to tell Ken what to do. So, I'm in charge of just making the center run, I guess. Financial stuff. We have other people here too that we should probably introduce. You'll probably see them eventually on the podcast. We have Amanda Penner. We call her Mandy. Handy Mandy. She is our community and office director. She's pretty amazing.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree.
So, who else do we have?
Megan Jackson.
Yeah, no. Again, I don't have a voice for radio, so
No.
that's fine. So Megan's our youth and family counselor. She's incredible, does a lot of work with our youth and families in our counseling department, and we're really grateful for her. Yeah, so and hopefully the feeling is mutual, but we'll see.
Yeah. And of course, Becky, our kitchen connoisseur, and I don't know, head person, kitchen liaison.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She's amazing.
She's pretty incredible. And I have deemed myself the official quality control individual in the kitchen. So I just taste test stuff and try and rattle Becky's grill a little bit. It's a lot of fun. So,
Which is really impressive because that grill in the back it's a chonky fella. So
pardon me. So anyway, whenever this podcast is available, please subscribe. We are looking to bring you guys some relevant content. We're looking to bring you guys some key some tips to whatever might be happening and relevant. We also want to bring on some guests. We want to have some people on here that want to have a conversation with us, want to talk stuff youth related, family related, and just fun. We want this to be a fun time as well. So yeah, stay tuned for whatever we drum up next. I'm sure it'll be interesting. So
there's always another crisis just around the corner.
Always another crisis. Hopefully not. Anyway, so today's podcast is called
I could just add, sound effects. You don't have to do those with your fingers anymore.
That's cool. Anyway, insert drum noise here. It's called Perspective Within Isolation. That was my phone.
I have a little bird in my pocket. I have silenced it.
Yeah, the bird is dead. I killed the bird. So that was anticlimactic. Perspective within isolation. First blooper goes to Nathan. Chalk that one up. But we wanna talk about this situation we're living in right now. So we're living in a little bit of an isolated state. We're grateful that the government is starting to roll out plans to get us back to normal. But we want to kind of share a few things that we've been talking about lately that can maybe help you change a few things within your thinking. So first one, number one.
Change your POV. For those of you who are not in the know, it is change your point of view.
Yeah, and I found a statistic the other day that I thought was really, it's kind of depressing, but it talked about this aspect of loneliness. Because isolation, when you think of isolation, you think of loneliness. And it said that 80% of adolescent teens have feelings of loneliness and isolation. And 30% of those teens experience those feelings on a consistent basis. So, 30%, that's not really a small number. And I'm sure when you exacerbate that and you create a situation like we're in where we literally are, entrenched in our own homes that we're told we can't leave, that's going to be probably brought up a little bit.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. But
for those who are in math, 30% is almost 1/3, just for perspective.
Exactly.
Math.
So, and if you can think of all the youth in Swift Current, if you're in Swift Current, 30% of youth, that's a significant number. But we want to make sure we address this idea of isolation and loneliness, and hopefully bring you some tools and how to kind of combat that a little bit. And knowing those numbers that are based on, like I said, normal circumstances, well, we can kind of garner the idea that is increased. And so how do we move forward? So let's explore this. What do you say?
Exploring is fun.
So we seem to kind of hinge a perspective at times that we can't change, what we can't have, we can't see. These things that are kind of in front of us that are normal tend to kind of bring us down a little bit because we can't do it. That sucks.
Yeah.
So more than ever, we find ourselves in these challenging times, and we push this thought process, and it tends to kind of weigh us down. It tends to kind of become a part of our normal everyday thinking. So how can we move past this I can't have or I can't see? And so the question becomes, like, how can we change this thought process? How can we change our point of view, like Kenton had said there? So we can't control it. We can't change it, but what can we change?
Our point of view.
Yeah, exactly. So how do we change our point of view?
Well, I think it really hinges on what you start focusing on, right? So if you're just focused on the immediate, what you can't have now, right? It sucks if you only focus on that. But especially with this pandemic, what we're going through right now is that we're looking to the future, right? And to protect those who are most vulnerable, and to the future where hopefully we can be open again at full capacity sooner rather than later.
Mm-hmm. So instead of, I think Kenton, what he's trying to frame is like, instead of thinking what we can't have, instead of thinking who we can't see, what, in another way, what now do we have the opportunity of doing? Who now do we have the opportunity to connect with? So you need to kind of change that, flip-flop that around, and think a little deeper, because it's easy to get bogged down by the negatives. We are naturally negative people. There's a quote, and I don't know who it's necessarily by. I found it the other day, and it says, if you can't change your circumstances, change your perspective. And that's an important thing to kind of take into play when we're trolling the subject a little bit. And it's important to realize that our point of view is an integral aspect in maintaining a consistent positive attitude. A positive attitude is, and I'm going to say this in a number of different aspects, a positive attitude is contagious. If I come to work in the morning and Kenton, or if Kenton comes to work in the morning and I'm sitting in my office and he says, "Morning, Nate," and I'm like, how's it going? Kind of whatever, kind of droll, kind of humdrum. Kenton's probably going to be affected by that. He's going to probably think, "Oh, what's wrong with Nathan?" Because he cares most of the time. Yeah. So, but if you were to change that up, and if you were to say, "Hey, Nate, how's it going?" and you say, "Oh no, it's going really good today," even though there might be stuff that's going on, and you're not being fake. But you know what? Your ability to express kind of a positive attitude right off the bat does have an effect on people within your day and within other circumstances.
Yeah. So like a lot of what we got to focus on is not the immediate, right? Because, you know, yeah, sure, your morning might have been crappy, but you got to look forward. It's like, oh, hey, my birthday's coming up. Oh, hey, like, you know, something else is coming up down the road. It's kind of like when you start playing a game with your family, like Monopoly, and you just don't want to do it, but your parents talk you into it and you get into it. And then by the end, you own half the board and your little brother just landed on Park Place and you have a hotel and you get to maniacally watch as he has to mortgage all of his property and sell his get out of jail free card just to pay for landing on that. And you got to look forward to that part. The landing on Park Place. Or Boardwalk. Which one's the bigger one?
It's Boardwalk.
It's Boardwalk. My mistake.
Yeah, no, funny story. My wife and I almost didn't make it to marriage because of me getting Boardwalk and absolutely dominating. But hey, here we are, happy. But that was funny. Sorry to bring that up again, babe. But anyway, the other thing too, like when I think of this perspective, this isn't for everybody, but you know what? I would highly encourage you to get on the reading. When I say that, I can just hear so many people sighing and I can feel rolling of eyes everywhere.
It's like, oh, hey, I just got out of school. And then Nathan's like, hey, you should read some books.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about...
This is my Nathan impression voice.
Oh, my goodness. I wish.
James Earl Jones.
That's a radio voice. I think I'm not speaking of a textbook. I'm not speaking of, a poetry book. Maybe you enjoy poetry. No disrespect. I love reading books that are good for the soul. And they change your perspective. They have a tendency to kind of shift your thinking a little bit, make you think about just different aspects of life that, are encouraging. They shed a positive perspective on things. And I'm reading this book right now. It's called Love Does by Bob Goff. And he tells stories. It's kind of got you feeling really good one second, and it's kind of sentimental in another chapter, but like it's just teaching you different ways how to love people, and sometimes we don't always want to love people. Sometimes we just want to hunker down and just stay in our pajamas all day and watch Netflix, but our perspective will not change unless we do something about it and kind of get up, work at being intentional about changing our perspectives and finding the positives, like Kenton said, looking towards the future. Don't focus on what you can't have, focus on what you now have the opportunity to do that you might not have during this school year or whatever other situations. So
just so we're clear, would you recommend that book?
Highly recommend. Anything Bob Goff is amazing. That guy is he's a genius. He's got an office. And where was it? Is it Treasure Island in Disneyland?
I don't know. It's by Disneyland.
Yeah.
It's in Disneyland.
He has an office in
Disneyland. He doesn't actually have the office. He just goes there and he says it's his office.
Yeah, whatever. And it's pretty crazy. He's a beauty.
I don't think he's there now though, because of the corona.
Yeah, well, nobody's there. But anyway.
So we'll have that book linked in the description. We do not have Amazon affiliate links, so you are not supporting us by buying the book. So if you want to buy it, if you don't, I don't care. It's your life. Mm-hmm. But you should probably buy it because it's a good book. At least that's what Nathan says.
It's a great book. Easy read. Anyway, moving on to number 2. What are we calling number 2?
Tactical interaction. Yeah, we came up with that name ourselves, the two of us.
Anything kind of military based. Kenton and I are all over that. So there's a quote that I kind of found. It's a little harsh, so brace yourselves. Albert Einstein, the man
who has degrees,
as Kenton pointed out last.
PhD for the record.
Can't believe I did not know that.
I did Wikipedia it after, and he does have.
He was not. You were not confident even saying that, so I felt a little bit better about myself after that. But anyway, Albert Einstein said, "I fear the day that technology will surpass human interaction. The world will have a generation of idiots." So, yeah, I'm not calling you an idiot. Much love, but I'm just saying, when they're talking about this whole concept of human interaction, it's in a very, very integral part of who we are and why we are able to live as long as we do. So finding ways to
do you have a statistic to back up human interaction to life expectancy?
No.
We'll probably get like Snopes fact checked at some point here. So
no, I don't on that one. I didn't want to throw so many stats at people. I'm pretty sure I could figure something out.
Yeah, well, I could make up a stat. I'm sure of it. Don't worry about it.
I could figure something out.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. There is.
I'm sorry. I'm that guy. I was that guy. My bad.
I know for sure there is stats on that, but there's also books talking about, I got to stop talking about books, but I know there are books that talk about, again, going at your perspective and looking towards the end of it and how that can actually be an incredible, powerful aspect to you getting through those difficult times and persevering. So anyway, that's beside the point, but tactical interaction, and what we want to talk about, it's kind of simple. We're finding new ways to interact and connect with people that are unconventional. We don't necessarily like it.
Nope. But sometimes it really sucks.
Yeah. But it's an opportunity to find new ways to connect with people and people we might not have connected with in the past. So
yeah. And one of those big things I think we talked about a little bit before the show. We have a show now. Was that when you do have an opportunity to contact people and to, have some interaction, don't stick to the easy stuff. Don't just be like, hey, how's the weather over at your house that's 2 blocks away from mine? Oh, it's sunny over there too. That's great. Have a nice day. No, like actually put some effort in, find out how they're doing and be genuine, be honest.
Yeah.
Like, don't just say like, oh yeah, I'm good, when you are in the pit of despair and you are going through a bout of depression that you haven't seen the likes of. Like, be honest with people and just be open. Because if we always keep this facade of, yeah, I'm doing great, I'm 100% all the time, even though this really sucks. And it does. And it's okay to say that this time really sucks. This whole COVID thing, it sucks.
No, I totally agree with what you're saying there. And I think within that too, and being open and being honest is adding value to the people that you're speaking with. Part of our innate ability to grow within our own personal lives, it hinges upon the fact of us adding value to the people around us. That is, I'm a true believer that if I'm not being intentional about building people up, helping people grow, adding value to those individuals through words, because words are hard, words are awkward sometimes. I still often stumble through, good job there. I really appreciated what you did. Like, it's just I'm an awkward guy most of the time, but I think that having that opportunity to add value, having opportunity to listen, and kind of dive into those conversations, even though they might be unconventional, they might be over Zoom, they might be over FaceTime, they might be over whatever. It's interesting. Like for my family and I, what we do sometimes, we have FaceTime suppers with family. We've had FaceTime suppers with friends, and it isn't ideal, not even remotely. And my kids are confused why we have to do it over FaceTime, and they want to carry the phone around and show their buddies what's going on in the house. It's super funny, but they're confused and they want that face-to-face interaction. We can't have that right now sometimes, or the way we want it, I guess. But I think it's important that within those times we take those opportunities to add value to the people that are in our lives, and even the people that we, like I said before, don't have the opportunity to necessarily interact with.
Yeah. I think that's actually a good place to take a break, right, Meow? Right, Meow? Right, Meow. So we'll be back in just a second. Here's a word from our sponsors.
Just wanted to take a moment to thank the Innovation Credit Union for supporting us here at the Center. They have generously donated $7,500 to the Center. We could not be more thankful for the partnership we have. They spend so much time in here, volunteer hours, financial assistance, and just all around encouragement and support. Thank you so much, Innovation Credit Union, for supporting us. All right, Kenton, I think you had a story there that you kind of wanted to share as far as
for sure. The kind of talking about that tactile interaction, changing our point of view when it comes to how we interact with people, right? And changing how we interact with people. For a long time, we have been having D&D sessions at my place with a few friends.
That's Dungeons & Dragons.
Yeah, Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, for anybody who cares. And we do it every Thursday, or sometimes it moves to Wednesday, depending on work schedules. But basically, every week we're playing some sort of role-playing game at my place with our friends. And since this whole Corona thing has happened, we can't really do that anymore. So we've shifted a little bit, and now me and the boys, we're actually playing Warframe together, which is an online game on the PS4 right now, currently. And it's good times because we get to interact, we get to talk a little bit, and just still have that interaction. And I mean, it's not the same as being in person, and I can't wait to start playing Dungeons and Dragons again. But at least I have something, right?
Absolutely. And I think human interaction is a key force in overcoming resistance and empowering change. Your ability to interact with the people around you, those individuals within, your Dungeons and Dragons, within your unconventional interactions with people, that's going to hopefully empower those people to do the same. It's a domino effect, and the more you spread that kind of love, the more you spread that kind of example, hopefully the more people that are going to be positively affected by it as we kind of move forward within this state of isolation we're in, hopefully temporary. Number three,
battle boredom, because alliteration is fun. Battle boredom.
Again, military terms. We're killing it here.
Pew pew.
Yeah. So battling boredom, it's really easy to become apathetic. The amount of times I've heard I'm bored from individuals that have used the center, which I find really difficult. I don't understand that part of it. How do we get bored in a place from what I feel like there's so much to do, and not even so much to do, but the people, the people around us are important. And if we're not taking that time to step outside this aspect and this mindset of boredom, it's easy to get apathetic. It's easy to just get used to that and to stay in that rut. And that we've kind of created ourselves. Let's be honest. I think a lot of it has to do with not wanting to be challenged. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
We don't want that challenge. We don't want to put ourselves out and get out of our comfort zone. And the comfort zone is a scary place to live, because when you get out to the real world and get a job, it's going to be a challenge.
Yeah, not every job allows you to, sit on your couch and watch Netflix in your PJs.
Yeah, that's...
I tried that one day here. I almost got fired. Okay, that's a lie. I didn't actually try that, but it would make for a funny anecdote. Maybe I should try it.
Yeah, just input Kenton and PJs here. No. There's a quote by Wayne Dyer. It says, "Life is never boring, but some people choose to be bored." It's kind of a choice. There are times for sure where things slow down, and we tend to allow that to affect us in some way, shape, or form. We can't go to school. We can't socially interact with people, and we let that define us. What are some things we can do other than just shut our minds off, get in front of our phones, get in front of the TV, watch Netflix? And how do we be a productive member of our household, productive member of society? I know that's very broad and a very scary way to look at it, but sometimes you just got to get up and do something.
Yeah, so along those lines, man, it's really important for you to just go out and do something. I cannot tell you how many times, and my wife can attest, I'm sure she'll drop a comment at some point in the video, but I come home on the weekends, and when I don't have anything to do at the center, I go, I'm bored. I have nothing to do. And then she suggests 5 or 6 things that I could do, and I'm like, but I don't feel like doing those. I'm bored. And so I've found, this past weekend actually, I put the effort in, and I just started doing something, and it felt so much better. I ended up practicing welding in my shop because, as some of you know, I have a 1994 Suzuki Sidekick that is approximately 10% rust, and then
it's
actually
lowballing it a little bit.
Lowballing, but it's rusty, and
she's a piece of work. She's an art piece.
So I've had to cut out a lot of the steel, and I'm trying to learn how to weld so I can replace that steel with new steel so I can, drive it again. Yeah. But honestly, just trying to do something, and then after I practiced a little bit of welding, I went around my garage and I cleaned up my workspace, and I felt so much better about myself because I actually had done something instead of just sitting on my butt watching Netflix all day. And I felt so much better. I cleaned up. I even ended up cleaning up our other car, our Vibe, our 2008 Vibe. It is muy caliente, and it's pretty awesome. I vacuumed that out. I just felt so much more fulfillment in actually just doing something rather than sitting on my butt. And you know what? I think a big part of that had to do with the fact that I was looking for something to I did something that made me think, right? Because I was trying to figure out, well, why isn't this weld working? Why does this weld look better than that weld? What am I doing differently? And I think challenging your brain so your brain doesn't just go to mush is important too.
I think, you bring up such a good point there. And the less we use our brains, the more we tend to atrophy in many ways. Like, I played 24 years of competitive hockey. And when, my hockey career was effectively ended by a car accident, I chose to kind of, in a way, let that define me for some time. And I don't know if you know what happens to a body when you just don't do anything. Maybe you do. Salt and vinegar chips, though, am I right? Things, gravity kind of takes its toll on you, and you start to atrophy, and the muscles in your body you've built up and you spent, years, making stronger so you can be good at what you're doing, it tends to not fare well, and you tend to grow in places you don't like growing in.
Nathan's just trying to say you get fat. You get weak and you get fat.
Yeah, hashtag dad bod. So anyway, that's a huge part of what happens, and what Kenton's talking about too. We tend to atrophy, and the more we don't use our brains, the more we don't use our creative minds, because we're all built with it. The Lord gave you all a creative gene, and it looks different for all of you, but use it. So that's all I'm trying to say. Just get
do
up
it.
And just do something.
Just do it.
There's a quote by, again, Wayne Dyer. The concept of boredom entails an inability to use up present moments in a personally fulfilling way. And I think that's super important. Like, it isn't our inability as far as our ability goes. It's just our inability to use that creativeness. We all have gifts. We all have things we're good at. Whether you are shaking your head looking at this or not, you do. And if you don't think you do, you're not looking hard enough. So whether that's what you want to hear or you don't, we have met so many kids in here that say, I'm not gifted at anything, I'm not good at anything, and then very soon after you have a conversation that says you might not be able to run the 100-yard dash or the 100-meter in 10 seconds, but man, you are an incredible philosophical thinker. You have ways and knowledge that you probably don't even realize you have. So get out, do something. Anyway, last one.
Press forward.
Press forward.
Yeah. And this time I actually have the quote for it. Martin Luther King Jr. said, so I'm not going to try to do his voice because it is so iconic, and I feel like that would probably not go well. So bear with me. If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, oh shoot, I totally messed that up. I lost my place. Classic. Anyways, okay. If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward.
Yeah, that's pretty powerful. I think it's in a way unfair to expect us to just roll with the punches. I think don't hear us out for a second. This isn't easy.
No.
I'm not saying changing your point of view. I'm not saying tactically interacting with people. I'm not saying battle boredom is easy. Like, these are hard things. Like, not hard as in rocket science hard, but they're hard to kind of change your brain a little bit, because it's hard to look past the negatives and see the positives. So don't think we're telling you this is incredibly easy. It's just learning and challenging ourselves and getting ourselves out of our comfort zone to understand that we can do this. We can change our point of view and add perspective that will get us going down a road in a little bit more of a positive manner. Find new ways to interact with people. That's hard.
Yep.
Like, FaceTime is not all that personal. I want personal interaction. I want to socially be able to sit, like I'm sitting with Kenton here, and chat with my friends.
Unfortunately, right now we're actually a little bit shy on the 6 beavers, but we're trying here, guys.
Yeah, we're a short hockey stick away, but anyway, we're a mini stick away.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, finding new ways to interact with people, and to add value within their lives and within your lives, it's a hard thing to do. But when you do get down this road, when you understand that, that first step is a tough one, the second step is a little bit easier, and the more you keep walking down this path, the easier it's going to be proactive in setting these things and implementing them into your daily life. Don't let boredom suck you into that black hole, because that black hole is a tough one to get out. Netflix, it's easy to binge watch shows like Tiger King. And for me, now it's The Last Dance. Michael Jordan. Yep. Anyway.
That's that famous rugby player?
Rugby player, yeah. No, cricket actually. But thanks.
Cricket.
Yeah. But we want to help you guys understand that, we're going through this too, and we're finding it difficult to find these positive things that are going to get us out of this rut. But understand that our goal here is to shed light on something and to encourage you to just keep pressing forward. Just try something. Just take a step. Just baby steps. And the more you try and implement these aspects into your daily life, the easier it'll get. And the more encouraging you'll feel, the happier you'll feel. And I can almost guarantee you this isn't going to feel like it's lasting a million years. It will go by quick, and we'll be back to normal before you know it.
Yeah. And just like, so last summer, I kind of challenged myself, and I put an app lock on my phone that would start blocking all my time-wasting apps at around, I think it was 6 o'clock in the evening. And for about a month, I did that. And my wife noticed a difference in how I acted and how I interacted with her. And then I after that month, I kind of gave up. I turned off the app blocker, and I just started, puddling away at all my random apps. And my wife noticed. And it was, we actually had to have a conversation about it. And just the fact that she noticed that I stopped putting in the effort. And even if it's just tiny little bits of effort, right? It's just those tiny little things that we do every day. Just one tiny little step that can start snowballing, right? We've all seen that cartoon where, person puts a snowball and rolls it down a hill, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until it's like sucking up people and crushing houses. We've all seen that, right? That's not just me. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So all it takes is that like one little bit of movement, right? And then you keep that momentum going, and it builds momentum of its own accord. And then all of a sudden you're left with this huge, I guess, change in our acronym, analogy. That's the word I was looking for. In our analogy, that all of a sudden this change kind of becomes self-propelling, right? That it's become such a big habit in your life that you can't help but continue to do things.
Mm-hmm. No, that's a great point. That's a really good point. And the thing that comes to mind for me is I remember being in a meeting. It was actually a board meeting for the center 2.5 years ago, 2 years ago, and we were talking about starting up this mentorship program, this Big Brothers Big Sisters program that we have at the center. And as I was proposing this, there are some people kind of humming and hawing over it. Whenever you start a program like that, there's a lot of privacy things that you have to think about. There's a lot of liability things you have to think of, and it's kind of a scary thing. What if something happened, that would put the center in a tough spot, whatever that looks like. And that was a question that I was asked, and And I didn't really know how to answer it other than, like I've done my due diligence. I've looked into the programs. I've looked at the policies. And our board chair, he stood up and just an amazing guy. He stood up and he said, well, you know what? We're either going to do something or we're going to do nothing. We're either going to stay in our comfort zone and just continue with business as usual, or we're going to take a little bit of a risk here. We're going to develop a program that's going to positively impact lives. And whether it's just one life, at least it's being a positive influence in the lives of one youth or two youth, or how many kids that need that influence in their lives. So,
yeah. Just going to read that quote again. If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward.
Yeah.
So, yeah. In conclusion, we're wrapping this up. There's a conclusion now, guys.
Yeah. So, claim your little victories. Don't look at your day as long. Look at the little victories. Find the different successes that you did throughout your day. Get up and get dressed. Get up and try and create a schedule. I know we've heard all these things, but don't just do that. Find the little victories, point them out, and hopefully build off of those moving forward. And seek people out that you haven't talked to in a while.
Yeah.
So find ways to encourage those in your household, even though that might be awkward. I would highly encourage you to encourage your brothers and sisters and your parents or your guardians or whoever you're hanging out with. I think that's a very important time, because if you're feeling like you're feeling, I'm going to assume the people around you are feeling the same way.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we just want to encourage you guys. We don't let this isolation define you or beat you down. From us at the center, we want to make sure that we're here for you guys in any way we can be here. If you need to talk to one of us, if you need to talk to a counselor, we're here for you. And we want to make sure that we're bringing you content that's relevant to your situation. If you have any questions, concerns, comments, please leave them.
And then go away.
Oh
wait, no, that's not. No, I'm just kidding.
No, don't. Yeah, no. But yeah, if you have a topic you want us to chat about, please send it our way. If you're interested in being a guest, give us a message. We're looking for people to put on our podcast and yeah, have some fun. So
it's a legitimate show, guys.
Yeah, no. But anyway, happy end of April, and we will see you when we see you. Kenton still does not like coffee or chocolate.
Yeah, that's true. I do not like coffee or chocolate, but I do like salt and vinegar chips.
Yeah, and I still don't have a voice for radio.
Have a good night, guys.
Yeah, you too.
Dave?
Me?
What? Well, that was awkward. You just answered it on a phone. It's like, have a good night. Okay, you too.
You too.
It's like that awkward moment when the waiter's like, enjoy your food. And you're like, yeah, you too, man. Yeah. You too. Yeah. Hey, why don't you just come sit down with me and enjoy this?
Walk away. Go.
It's just awkward. Or I did that to a movie person one time when we buying tickets in Saskatoon. I was like, they're like, enjoy the show. And I'm like, you too.
Yeah, we should have quit while we're ahead. Have a good day.
Bye.